end of the year that you don't feel like you would have made kind of when you were starting out as a coordinator?
I don't know if there's one call in particular, but just really relying on the guys on the staff. All of the full-time coaches that are in there with me throughout the course of the week, just to listen to what they're saying and say, okay, yeah, that is a good call. Let's roll with that. So being able to trust them and rely on them and the confidence that they've watched the same film that I've watched and I can't do it by myself, and listening to the young coaches that we have that do all of our breakdowns. So I don't know if there's one call, but really just being able to process the information better, to be able to get to the calls in the right situations.
One of the other things about the running game was, I know you want to get better production out of the tight end and blocking. Have you feel like you've gotten that this year? I
think we've played to his strengths, in the run game, and that guy that can do what Dwayne Allen did, be that 260-pound fullback, but then also be a 215-pound wideout, run like a gazelle. Those guys are hard to find, and Jordan is getting to that point. He's more confident. He was more of a wideout in high school, but he's growing from a physical standpoint. I think we did a good job of putting him in positions to be successful, to build that confidence. And as the season went on, he was able to help us a little bit more in the run game.
When did you stop getting nervous about having a true freshman left tackle? Has there been a point where you were like, okay, I don't need to worry about this anymore?
After the fourth game of the season on the big stage, and we didn't have to give him any kind of help from a protection standpoint, and then I recruited Mitch, and so I had a great comfort level with him, knowing the kind of young man he is, the background that he has, the competitor that he is, so after the fourth game of the season, when he showed up on the big stage with one of the best teams in the country, that's when I stopped being nervous and just let him go play.
Is there a point, was it in August where you guys kind of made the final decision that he'd get that nod? Was it closer to the start of the season? Was there someone that you had identified in February as someone who could come in and play right away?
Well, he was here in the spring, so he went all through spring ball, and he got baptized. He got baptized by Shaq Lawson, and obviously, with the recognition he's had nationally, we understand how good of a player that he is. And then obviously with Battle's decision to come out early and go in a supplemental draft, we knew he had to get ready. So we knew when we recruited him that he'd be a guy that would come in and compete. We thought we had a little bit of time with Battle. Obviously, that situation worked itself out, and so we knew in spring ball that he was going to have a chance to compete. And then once Isaiah made that decision, we knew that we had to give him an opportunity.
Having Deshaun go through it a year ago, I know different positions, but seeing a five-star kid come in as a true freshman and play the Manning position, did that give you as a coaching staff a little more confidence that someone of his talent could handle that, just because you've seen an 18-year-old kid do it under a similar situation a year before? Correct,
and it just goes back to the makeup of the young man, and what drives Deshaun, I believe, is the same thing that drives Mitch Hyatt. They're not about the hype; they're about the game. They love the game, they respect the game, and they understand that regardless of what their talent is, talent's never enough. That you got to put in that work, that you got to be driven, that you got to be focused, and you got to prepare with purpose every week. And so I think that's more important than the status and the accolades that they have. Is just what is their makeup. And both of those young men are driven, and they're driven in the classroom. Mitch came in, wanted to study engineering, was committed to doing that, and just like Deshaun, we've seen what his grade point average has been since he got here. So those guys have the right fiber to be able to do that.
You mentioned ball security. You only had one turnover in the championship game, and that was a batted ball. What has been the difference? Is it just a result of the players being more focused and putting more of an emphasis on that, or is there something specific that you've been working on in practice?
Just emphasizing it and getting them to understand that we were able to overcome some turnovers because we had a good football team, but now we're at a point in the season where we're playing equally matched teams, and that if you don't take care of the football, you don't give yourself an opportunity to win. And some of the things happen. You're not going to completely eliminate them. They're not acceptable, but at the same time, they're going to happen. You just try not to overemphasize it, correct the issue. If there's a technical issue, get it fixed, but really just trying to point it out and make it an emphasis that, hey, we're at a point now where we're competing, and who we're competing with, we got to take care of the football.
You all have talked about how great it is that you have the type of team that is resilient and has the resolve to bounce back from a turnover and overcome that and still win on the road. But do you ever feel that might be a detriment, that confidence? It says sometimes that in the back of their minds that that they're not as focused about protecting the football because they know that they can overcome those mistakes?
I don't think it's a detriment. I love the fact that they have confidence, and part of football is building the confidence that if you have a bad play, you move on to the next one. So really not trying to mess with that confidence too much, but at the same time, where's that happy balance of pointing it out to where you have that point of emphasis that we understand that we can't do it. Well, if it happens, then we can't let that mistake beat us twice. So we can't make that one mistake turn into two mistakes, and we just got to keep going forward. And we want to end every drive with a kick, whether it's a punt or whether it's an extra point or a field goal. That's our mentality, and having the confidence to, every drive we're going to give ourselves an opportunity with a kick at the end of the drive after a score, or change the field position with a punt.
You've talked so much about this going to be a downhill running attack, and the way things played out this year, was it even better than what you could have imagined as far as how efficient the run game turned out to be?
I was confident coming out of spring. Watching the way the backs had evolved, just watching the cohesiveness starting to happen with the offensive line. So I don't know if it exceeded expectation, but I've been pleased with what we've been doing running the football. Still opportunities to get better. That's what's made us go, is being able to run the football, because then we got some play actions and we got the quarterback zone reads. So really pleased with what we're doing in the run game, and still see opportunities to get better.